All right, let's talk about something really big that's happening in the world of data right now. There's this fundamental shift going on. We're moving beyond the static dashboards that we all know and are maybe a little tired of, and into a world that's so much more dynamic, conversational, and yeah, truly intelligent.
So let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest. Ever build a dashboard that nobody used? Come on, if you're in data, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It probably hits a little too close to home, right? You pour weeks, maybe even months of your life into this thing. You make it beautiful, it works perfectly, and then you check the usage stats and crickets. It's just flatlined. Man, that feeling is just so frustrating.
And, this whole painful cycle just repeats itself over and over. But here's the thing I really want you to hear. It is not your fault. Seriously, it's not that you're a bad designer or that your stakeholders don't care. The real problem? It's the dashboard itself. It's a passive tool in a world that is incredibly fast-paced and dynamic. So, what if there's a better way? Well, there is, and that brings us to this brand new paradigm that's honestly changing the whole game. We're talking about a shift away from just reporting on what happened last week to actively analyzing what's happening right now and even helping to predict what's coming next.
Okay, so let's define our terms. What in the world is an agentic analyst? The easiest way to think about it is like having a new junior partner on your team, or maybe an automated scout. It's an AI system that can actually perceive changes in the data, reason about what might be causing them, act on it by, say, sending you an alert, and, this is key, it learns from your feedback. It handles all that grunt work, which frees you up for the good stuff, the high-level strategy.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The distinction here is massive. Think about it. A dashboard, it's basically a rearview mirror. All it does is tell you what's already happened. But an agentic analyst, that's like having a co-pilot with a full-on GPS. It doesn't just tell you what happened, it actually suggests why it happened and helps you figure out where to go next. That's not just an upgrade, that is a total game changer.
Now, to be super clear, we're not saying dashboards are completely useless. They had their time, but they are becoming obsolete. Why? Because the demands of business today they've outgrown them. Businesses need speed. They need to have a conversation with their data. They need proactive insights. And a static report just can't keep up anymore.
And this table just lays it all out so perfectly. Look at this. Dashboards have static, scheduled refreshes, right? Maybe once a day. Agents, they give you real-time monitoring that's triggered by events. Or how about this one? With a dashboard, your users have to know exactly which filter to click. With an agent, they can just ask a question in plain English, like, hey, show me churn by region. And proactive alerts? Forget it with dashboards. You have to find the problem. Agents find the outlier and tell you. No more one-size-fits-all views either. You get personalized summaries. And maybe the most important part, agents don't just dump data on you. They actually generate hypotheses and suggest what to do next. It's a whole different league.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds a little bit like science fiction, maybe a little threatening to the job. But it's not. This is an evolution. It's about leveling up. So let's get practical. Let's dive into what your new playbook is going to look like.
All right, skill shift number 1. This is a big one. It's about changing how we see our core role. For years, we've been the builders, right? Head down, writing every single line of SQL, crafting every chart. Now, we're shifting to become orchestrators. We're the ones defining the rules of the game, setting up these agents to play, and then monitoring what they do to make sure it's accurate and makes sense. Okay, so where do you even begin? The first actionable step is to start building what's called a semantic layer. This is where you codify all your business logic. It's the place you define once and for all exactly what revenue means or what counts as an active user. This thing becomes the single source of truth that the AI agents rely on. Honestly, it's the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
Okay, on to skill shift number 2. And this one is pretty cool. Get this. Your words are your new code. Yeah, you heard me. Being able to communicate clearly and effectively with these AI agents is going to be a superpower. And mastering some basic prompt engineering, look, it's not about needing a PhD in machine learning. It's simply about learning how to give really clear, really precise instructions.
And just look at the difference on this slide. It is night and day. On the left, find sales issues. I mean, what does that even mean? The AI has no clue where to start. It's useless. But look at the prompt on the right. That's not a request. That's a clear, step-by-step plan for analysis. It tells the agent exactly which table to query, what the threshold is for a problem, and even how to break down the results.
That's the level of precision we're talking about.
So how do you get good at this? Here's an easy, actionable step. Just open up ChatGPT or whatever LLM you use and practice. Start writing these kinds of precise analytic prompts. A great way to frame it is to pretend you're writing instructions for a brand new junior analyst on your team. The goal is zero ambiguity. Leave no room for them to misunderstand.
All right, skill shift number 3 is absolutely crucial. And this is where we, the humans, really shine. See, these AI agents, they're amazing at finding correlations in the data, patterns we might miss. But they are terrible at understanding causation and context. They have no idea you just launched a new marketing campaign or that your biggest competitor just slashed their prices. They don't get office politics. That's where our value becomes irreplaceable.
And here's a great little exercise you can do. The next time you see an insight that an AI spit out, play devil's advocate. Actively challenge it. Ask yourself, okay, what is the agent missing here? What piece of business context could totally change the meaning of this? That's how you do the real work. That's how you bridge that gap between just a number and an actual strategic decision.
Okay, skill shift number 4. And this one is all about taking initiative. You do not have to wait for your company to roll out some giant, expensive new platform. The key here is to be proactive. Start playing around with the tools that are already out there right now. A lot of them are open source and way easier to get started with than you think.
Here's your actionable step. Just think of one simple, repetitive question that you get asked over and over again. You know the one. Now, just dedicate 1 hour a week, that's it, to trying to build a tiny little agent that automates the answer to that one question. I promise you will learn a ton, and you'll get a first-hand look at just how powerful this approach can be.
So, we've covered a lot, and it's totally natural to hear all this and feel, I don't know, a little anxious. Like, is my job about to disappear tomorrow? And the answer is a hard no. This isn't happening overnight. This is a gradual rollout, and the future here is all about collaboration, not replacement.
Let's look at a realistic timeline. Right now, and for maybe the next 6 months, your job is going to be a lot of validating and refining what these agents spit out. You're the quality control. Then, in the medium term, maybe 6 to 18 months out, you'll shift into designing the workflows for these agents. And then, long term, your role gets elevated. You're doing pure strategic oversight, the kind of complex causal analysis that only a human brain can handle. See, at every single stage, your work actually becomes more valuable.
I love this quote. It just reframes this whole conversation so perfectly. Your opportunity is to become the educator and orchestrator of these agents. This isn't about being automated away. It's about stepping up into a brand new, more important role. You become the teacher, the guide, the conductor of this whole orchestra of AI.
So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? It's this. Your value was never, ever about building charts. Your real value has always been about driving better decisions. This whole shift, it's the end of being a dashboard custodian. It's the end of data janitor work. It frees you up to finally become what you were always meant to be, a real, true strategic partner to the business.
So, you see, dashboards aren't really dying. They're evolving. They're morphing into something way more intelligent, way more powerful. And that leaves us with just one real question, doesn't it? Are you ready to be the one who guides that evolution?